Guys, listen, if the power goes out tonight, most people won't be ready. I'm talking zero lights, no water, no phone signal, just pure panic. But what if I told you the stuff already in your house could actually save your life? Not fancy gear, not $1,000 kits, just 7 everyday items, simple, underrated, and absolutely crucial when the grid goes down. As of July 2025, grid failure risks have surged thanks to cyber attacks, wild weather, and infrastructure breakdowns. But here's the thing. Survival doesn't start when the power cuts, it starts with preparation. In this video, I'm showing you 7 household items that could mean the difference between staying safe and being in real danger. Stick around because I promise you've overlooked at least one of these. If you're serious about surviving when the power's gone, not just making it, but doing it smart, hit subscribe right now. We break it down so you're never caught unprepared. Number 1. Heavy-duty garbage bags. When you think about surviving a grid-down disaster, garbage bags probably aren't the first thing that comes to mind. But let me tell you, if you don't have a stash of heavy-duty trash bags when the lights go out, you're missing one of the most versatile survival tools in your entire house. And I'm not talking about those thin grocery store kitchen bags. I mean industrial-grade, 3mm thick, contractor-style black trash bags. The kind used on job sites or for serious cleanup. Why? Because when infrastructure collapses, so does sanitation, and that's where things get dangerous. Let's break it down. First, these bags make excellent emergency ponchos. Tear a hole for your head and 2 for your arms, and you've got an instant rain shield. When the grid goes down, that means no heat, no dryers, and possibly no way to get warm again if your clothes get soaked. A trash bag could keep you from freezing in a cold storm. Second, you've got waste management. With toilets not flushing and trash collection halted, managing your own bio-waste becomes a health-critical task. Line a bucket with a garbage bag, add some cat litter or sawdust, and you've got an improvised toilet system that could prevent disease in a long-term outage. But it doesn't stop there. You can use these bags to collect and store water. Cut one open and shape it inside a container or hole, and you've got a waterproof lining that can hold rainwater or snow. Pair that with a filter or boiling method, and you've got drinking water reven in the absence of a working tap. They can also be used to insulate windows, block drafts, and even act as emergency blankets if layered. Black plastic absorbs heat during the day, something you can use to your advantage if the power outage happens during winter. And here's a wild one. Trash bags can double as stretchers. In emergency situations, filling a few with soft clothing and taping them together can help you move someone who's injured without putting them in direct contact with cold or contaminated ground. Stat check. As of July 2025, FEMA guidelines now list heavy-duty trash bags among the top 10 essential non-food survival items due to their multifunctionality in natural disasters and grid-down scenarios. Your prep tip: keep a 10-pack of 3mm contractor-grade black bags in your emergency stash. Flatten them and store in a Ziploc bag. They take up almost no space and can serve over a dozen life-saving functions when it matters most. Number 2. Old smartphone, even if it's dead. Wait, a dead phone? In a survival scenario? Yes, because even without a SIM card, service, or signal, an old smartphone is one of the most underestimated survival tools sitting in your junk drawer right now. When the grid goes down, communication is the first thing to collapse. Cell towers can fail. The internet disappears. And suddenly, people are cut off not just from the outside world, but from information. And in a crisis, information is survival. Here's where that old phone comes in. Even offline, it can become your emergency brain. Store PDFs of medical guides, first aid manuals, edible plant IDs, or offline maps of your local area. Download NOAA weather data, emergency frequencies, or even tutorials on how to purify water, build a fire, or create makeshift shelters. All that lives on the device and requires no internet to access. Apps like Offline Maps and Navigation, First Aid by American Red Cross, or Survival Manual work entirely without data once installed. Think about that. If your main phone is dead, lost, or damaged, this backup becomes a pocket-sized survival encyclopedia. It also has a flashlight, calculator, clock, compass on most models, and an alarm. That's at least 5 survival tools in one slab of glass you probably haven't powered on since 2020. Now, let's talk about storage. Before the grid goes down, you want to do 3 things. Fully charge that old device. Set it to airplane mode to save power. Load it with essential offline files and apps. Store it with a cheap charging cable, a small solar panel, or a crank-powered USB bank, and suddenly, it's not a dead device at all, it's your offline lifeline. And don't forget the camera. Need to document damage for insurance later? Use it. Want to track injuries to show a medic? Use it. Need a mirror? Flip to selfie cam. That simple function alone has multiple survival uses. Stat check. As of July 2025, Over 82% of US households have at least one unused smartphone sitting in a drawer, often forgotten, but fully functional. Emergency response trainers are now urging citizens to repurpose these as part of standard go-bag prep. Your prep tip: designate your old phone as an offline emergency device. Charge it fully, turn off auto updates, and preload it with at least 5 critical offline apps or PDFs. Keep it stored in a waterproof pouch with a charging option, and you've just turned forgotten tech into a life-saving edge. Number 3. Duct tape. It fixes everything, right? From broken furniture to busted bumpers, duct tape is legendary. But when the grid goes down, it becomes way more than a handyman's favorite tool. It turns into an all-in-one survival solution that can literally save your skin. Let's be clear, this isn't just about patching things up. In a blackout scenario, duct tape becomes a waterproof seal, a first aid tool, an improvised rope, and even part of your shelter. And what's wild is you probably already have a roll lying around somewhere. Here's how this everyday item becomes essential under extreme conditions. Waterproofing. You can seal leaks in a tarp or plastic sheeting, patch a hole in a tent, or reinforce windows during storms. Need to make an emergency water container leak-proof? Duct tape and a plastic bottle can do the trick. Medical use. Cut your hand and don't have gauze or bandages? Wrap clean cloth over the wound and secure it with duct tape. It keeps the dressing in place, even in wet or dirty conditions. You can also immobilize a sprained ankle or create a makeshift splint in the field using sticks and tape. Shelter and warmth. Got plastic sheeting or trash bags? Use duct tape to secure seams and create windproof barriers. You can even make emergency gloves, shoe wraps, or insulation patches for jackets. In freezing weather, that can be a game changer. Gear repair. When survival depends on what you carry, you can't afford broken equipment. Duct tape can fix torn backpacks, cracked buckets, broken tool handles, or ripped shoes. One roll covers dozens of repair jobs instantly. Restraints and defense. It may sound extreme, but duct tape can also act as a restraint if you need to secure something or someone in an emergency situation. It's strong enough to hold back a lot more than you think. Stat check. As of July 2025, duct tape ranks in the top 3 most purchased disaster prep items on Amazon during storm warnings and blackout alerts, according to retail analytics firm StackPulse. Now here's the kicker: most people have duct tape, but they don't have enough. One roll won't last long when you're using it to fix, seal, patch, and strap every part of your grid-down setup. Your prep tip: stock at least 3 full rolls of quality duct tape, preferably waterproof and UV-resistant. Wrap a few feet around water bottles, flashlights, or lighters for easy, portable access. Trust me, when everything starts breaking down, duct tape is the glue that holds your world together. Number 4. Pocket mirror or compact. A pocket mirror? Seriously? Yes, dead serious. Because when the grid goes down and survival becomes real, visibility, signaling, and self-checks suddenly matter more than you'd think. And that little mirror hiding in your makeup bag or glove box? It just became a high-value survival tool. Let's start with the obvious one: signaling for help. If you're stranded, lost, or isolated without power or cell signal, a mirror can reflect sunlight up to several miles away. It's one of the oldest and most effective forms of visual distress signaling, used by military pilots, hikers, and search and rescue teams for decades. Unlike a flare or flashlight, a mirror doesn't require batteries. It won't burn out, and it can be aimed toward aircraft or rescuers using nothing but your hand and a beam of sun. In wide open areas, a flash of light can be seen up to 10 miles away. But that's just the start. A mirror also becomes a first aid essential. Got an injury on your face, eye, or somewhere hard to see? You'll need a way to check for debris, infection, or swelling. Whether you're removing a splinter, inspecting a bite, or checking a wound, having a mirror can literally help you treat yourself without guessing. And then there's mental health. Yeah, you read that right. In extended grid-down events, especially those involving isolation or crisis, small rituals like shaving, brushing your teeth, or simply being able to see yourself can be psychologically grounding. That moment of self-recognition, of control, is a small anchor in chaos. Mirrors can also help with fire starting, using sunlight to heat dry tinder in a pinch. It's not the easiest method, but it's doable with patience and focus. Stat check. A 2024 FEMA Survival Training Manual lists signal mirrors among the top 15 non-electronic signaling tools. And as of mid-2025, personal rescue mirrors are even included in many military survival kits issued to pilots and naval personnel. Now here's the thing, you don't need a special expensive signal mirror with aiming holes and reflectors. A regular compact or any small flat mirror can work. Even the mirror from a broken makeup case or dollar store compact will do the job. Your prep tip. Store a pocket mirror in your emergency kit, bug-out bag, or car glove box. Keep it wrapped in cloth or a pouch to prevent scratches. And make sure everyone in your family knows how to use it to flash sunlight for signaling. It's one of those items that weighs nothing but could change everything. Number 5. Coffee filters. Coffee filters? Yep, those thin, papery discs you probably toss without thinking might just become one of your smartest survival tools when the grid goes down. Most people only see them as part of their morning routine. But in a blackout, they become a lightweight, compact multi-tool for water, hygiene, fire starting, and even first aid. And the best part? They're dirt cheap, take up zero space, and you can buy 100 of them for less than a cup of actual coffee. Let's break it down. First and most importantly, water filtration. Coffee filters won't purify water on their own, but they will remove dirt, debris, insects, and larger particles before you boil or treat it chemically. That first layer of filtration makes your purification method more effective and helps prevent clogs in filter straws or pumps. In short, they're your pre-filterone that could drastically reduce illness when clean water is scarce. Next, fire starting. These things are super flammable. Tear one up, fluff it slightly, and you've got tinder that ignites quickly and burns long enough to catch twigs or kindling even in damp conditions. Combined with a lighter or magnesium striker, it's one of the easiest fire-starting hacks available. Hygiene? Yep. When toilet paper runs out, and trust me, during extended outages, coffee filters are a soft, disposable alternative. Are they ideal? Number. But when you're dealing with zero plumbing and no stores, they're better than leaves, rags, or nothing at all. They're also great for wiping down tools, cleaning glasses, or even blotting oil from skin. First aid uses coffee filters are sterile right out of the pack. You can fold one into a makeshift dressing, use it as a wound cover, or pad a blister if you're low on supplies. It's not a replacement for gauze, but in an emergency, it's a decent backup. Bonus use. If you're storing small items like seeds, meds, or spices, filters work like little packets. Fold and tape them shut, and you've got organized mini pouches that don't weigh anything. Stat check. As of June 2025, emergency preparedness forums rank coffee filters among the top 5 under-the-radar preps for bug-out, bags praised for their versatility, availability, and price. Your prep tip. Grab a 100-pack of basket-style filters and store them flat in a Ziploc bag. Toss a few into every go bag, glove box, and emergency drawer. Whether you need to strain water, start a fire, or clean up a mess, those flimsy filters might just hold your survival together. Number 6. Crank radio with USB port. In a grid-down world, information is power. And when your phone's dead, the internet's gone, and there's zero cell signal. A crank-powered radio might be the only way to know what's happening beyond your front door. Most people overlook this device because, let's be honest, it feels old school. But when everything else goes silent, this little tool becomes your lifeline. Here's why it matters. Emergency updates. A good crank radio can tune into NOAA weather alerts, AM, FM broadcasts, and emergency frequencies. That means if a wildfire is spreading, a flood is approaching, or martial law is declared, you won't be left in the dark. In a blackout, the information you get, or don't get, can be the difference between staying safe and walking into danger. Zero power needed. These radios are designed to work without electricity. Just crank the handle for 60 seconds, and you can get 10-20 minutes of radio time. Many also include a small solar panel for passive charging during daylight. And here's where it gets even better. They charge your devices. Most modern crank radios come with a USB output, so you can use it to charge your phone, flashlight, or power bank. No, you won't get a full charge from a few cranks, but it's enough to power your phone, make an emergency call, or send a text if the signal returns. Multi-tool functionality. These aren't just radios anymore. Many models include built-in flashlights, SOS sirens, battery indicators, and even compasses. One tool, multiple functions, no electricity required. Stat check. As of July 2025, over 62% of households in high-risk weather zones own a crank radio, according to data from the National Preparedness Survey. And FEMA still recommends one in every emergency kit right alongside water and food. Here's the reality. During disasters, government alerts and rescue instructions are almost always broadcast over radio first. If you're relying on Twitter or TikTok for updates when the grid's down, you're in trouble. And guess what? You don't need to break the bank to get one. Basic, reliable models cost under $30 and last for years. Some even come with replaceable batteries for long-term reliability. Your prep tip: buy a crank radio with NOAA alert capability, a built-in flashlight, and a USB output port. Store it with your emergency supplies, and don't forget to test it quarterly. Knowing how to use it before disaster strikes is just as important as owning it. When everything else goes offline, this might be the one device that keeps you informed, connected, and alive. Number 7. Lighter plus birthday candles. Fire is life. It cooks your food, purifies your water, keeps you warm, lights up the dark, and boosts morale when everything feels uncertain. But in a grid-down world, your ability to create fire on demand isn't a luxury, it's a survival essential. That's why this last item is actually a combo, a basic lighter and a few birthday candles. Let's start with the lighter. Forget stormproof, military-grade fire starters for a second. A simple Bic lighter, the kind you find at any gas station, is one of the most reliable, efficient fire tools ever made. It's cheap, compact, and works instantly. Even if it runs out of fuel, it still creates sparks that can ignite dry tinder. Keep one in your pocket, another in your emergency kit, and stash a few more in drawers, bags, and your car. This isn't about having one lighter. It's about never being without one when you need it most. Now, pair that lighter with something surprisingly powerful: birthday candles. Here's why they're geniuses. Birthday candles burn slow and steady around 10 minutes each. That's long enough to ignite wet kindling or keep a small flame alive in windy or damp conditions. Unlike matches, which burn out in seconds, candles give you time. You can use one to light multiple fires, heat up a metal spoon, or provide steady light in a small room. And because they're short and waxy, they're drip-resistant and relatively safe indoors. Need to heat water in a cup? A few birthday candles can do it slowly. Need light while working with both hands? Stick one into an apple, bottle cap, or chunk of wood. It becomes a hands-free mini lantern. Stat check. A 2025 survey by Urban Prepper showed that birthday candles were rated one of the top 10 sleeper survival items by experienced prepper cited for their lightweight, long burn, and multi-use value. They weigh almost nothing, take up no space, and cost less than $1 per pack. You could fit 20 of them in an Altoids tin and never even notice. Your prep tip: create a mini fire kit. 1 lighter, 10 birthday candles, a few cotton balls or coffee filters, and a mini Faro rod sealed in a Ziploc or mint tin. Keep it in your bag or glove box. It'll give you multiple ways to start a fire, even if your hands are numb, your wood is wet, or your nerves are shot. Because when everything else fails, fire doesn't just keep you alive, it reminds you that you're still in control. Let's be real, when the grid goes down, it won't care how much money you've got in the bank or how many followers you have online. It'll come down to who's prepared and who's not. And as you just saw, survival isn't always about expensive gear or high-tech gadgets. Sometimes, it's about garbage bags, a dead phone, a pocket mirror. Stuff you already have, just not where you'll need it when it really counts. Now ask yourself this: if the lights cut out tonight, would you be ready? Because the people who are watching videos like this, they're not panicking, they're planning, quietly, intelligently. They're building an edge that 90% of people won't even think about until it's too late. So if you learned even one thing today that made you go, "Whoa, I never thought of that," then here's what you do next. Hit that subscribe button. Because every day, we break down exactly what's coming: blackouts, shortages, supply chain shocks, and how you can stay ahead of it all, using stuff you already own. No fear tactics, no fluff. Just raw, real strategies to help you think clearer, prep smarter, and stay 2 steps ahead of the chaos. This isn't just a channel, it's a survival mindset. And trust me, you'll want that mindset before the next outage hits. So subscribe now, because the next video might not just inform you, it might save you.